We're starting in 18 minutes time. You can't be going on going.
I'm packing the things.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing very well. And you too?
Okay, good.
Yeah, nice to have you around.
Yes, you too.
Yeah.
You must
Okay, so
have been very busy weekend, preparing, huh?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I really wish it goes well and all the best.
Yeah, amen.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
So waiting for others to join us.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I'm on standby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so for now you can mute your video. So
Yes.
when it's time to start the
Yes.
session, we're gonna ask you to
I'll,
turn on your video.
okay. I can stop
Yeah.
it now. Sure. Okay. No problem.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, hello everyone. Good morning. I trust you are having a great day. So we'd like to welcome you all. So to this training, I'd like to start by saying welcome to EAZY-DIGI Tech Solutions. Yeah, for those that are getting to meet us for the first time, probably this is the first time of attending a training. We are a research and training-based organization on education technology. All right, so as such, we offer consultancy and training services on educational technology. All right, in summary, I would say all we do is to make it easy for you to execute successful digital education. All right, that's all, like the name implies, EAZY-DIGI. So all we do is to make it easy for you to, to have a working and effective learning environment, the digital education system. That's all we stand for. All our trainings, everything we do, our consultancy service is all geared towards all of that. So once again, I'd like to say you are all welcome. All right, you're welcome. All right, so we are opening this training. Yeah, like someone asked this morning, we're going to be doing this throughout the month, and then we have 12 sessions. We have sessions every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. All right, so and then let me quickly say that at the end of every week, you're expected to submit your assignments. You're going to be given some set of tasks to execute, and then we're going to be grading you at the end of this training based on your performance in each of the weeks. Okay, so we have sessions every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right, so today's Monday, and we're here. All right, so basically it's just for 45 minutes, 10 to 10:45. Say by virtue of a few other things, we might just extend to, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes. All right, but basically the normal time we have planned is 45 minutes. All right, so for the digital trafficking issues and all of that, we may just extend slightly, to 5 or 10 minutes. But basically for 5 minutes, we're good to go and we're done. I don't intend to keep you waiting for too long because you understand that you're all educators and you have a lot of things to achieve and do at your end. All right, so once again, I'd like to say you're welcome. All right, feel free. This is going to be very, going to be down to earth as we're going to be looking at some issues, some challenges. Right, this is not all the challenges there are to the digital shift, but we're just going to be picking these 4 as major challenges that we have discovered from our survey and research that needs to be addressed. And that's why we want to start this training on this note. Remember, the focus of this training is technology enhanced learning. All right, so digital education is no longer a new thing in the atmosphere. Everybody knows it's something that's ongoing. And then every learning center has to integrate this into our system. And then that is what we are here for. All right, so quickly we're going to be, I'm going to ask, I'm going to have to ask our panelists to please turn on your videos as we go on, so you can have a more lively interaction. All right, because everything we do here is more than an example of what should happen when you are in class and when you are having the sessions with your students and all of that. So once again, I'd like to say that you are all welcome. All right, thank you very much. It's good to have you all around. Okay, so quickly, Mr. Yakin, are you there? Mr. Adebola, are you there?
Yes, I am with you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay, good morning. So at this point, I'll hand over to you. Please, you can take over.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, everyone, our participants and our loving and ever-ready facilitators. I appreciate you personally for creating time to be on this platform with us. God bless you, sirs and man. I wouldn't want to waste time because Mr. Adebayo has done a brief justice to what this organization is all about and what we look up to as far as building teachers and learners in the in this what education entails. Right now, we have 4 panelists on board. Seeing their faces alone means a lot to me, and I'm very sure they are ready to bless us. I can recognize Mrs. Rene Matindi, Mr. Olasunkomi, Mrs. Nkechi, Mrs. Theresa Mayers. I really appreciate your presence. Wow, these are 4 powerful topics we have here: teachers' philosophy and digital literacy level, digital approach to school administration, effective learners engagement, and data deficits and lack of devices or gadgets. I would like to start with teachers' philosophy and digital literacy level with Mrs. Theresa Mayers. From what I have here, to some extent, especially from the beginning of this pandemic, to some extent, some teachers are technophobic. You know, they fear of using technology to teach or to aid teaching, probably because they are not used to this before this time. So, you know, they don't really know how to go about teaching because they are not well equipped digitally. This is just an avenue to keep them abreast of what they need to know and chase off that fear. Mrs. Theresa, please, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning. I am here.
All right, good to see you. Good to hear from you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. It's an absolute wonderful initiative that you have going here, and I really would like to commend you guys on what it is that you are doing, and I am really, really happy to be part of this whole initiative. So thank you for having me.
Good to hear that, madam. Good to hear that. All right, from your, we will want to tap from your wealth of knowledge again. Yes, from your experience so far, what can you say to this teachers' philosophy and digital literacy level among teachers across the world? Please, what can you say to this? What do you think is the way forward, the way out?
I think that an important place to start is with teachers personally. I am here because I have a wealth of experience. I don't know about the wealth of knowledge, but I think one of the important things that I have to share is that I am a classic example of a teacher who used to be absolutely afraid of technology. So my starting point this morning would be to speak to all our colleagues out there who are looking at this whole digital shift and considering it to be something huge or something daunting. I must admit that it is daunting, but I do think that if you have the right attitude and you have the right mindset, then it can become something that you can embrace. I think also, if you take a look at where the world is going, besides the effects of the pandemic, we are making a shift to a world that is different to that we may be used to. So I am a classic chalk and talk teacher, or I used to be. And one of the things that I was completely afraid of was standing in front of a class and having to navigate technology. So it is absolutely crucial that teachers understand that if you are fearful, that is okay. If you don't know, that is okay. If things go wrong, that is okay too. What is not okay, however, is for us as teachers not to make that mind shift change. So it is important that we encourage our colleagues to make the mindset change first of all, because if I could do it, then I am of the opinion that everybody else is able to do it. There are so many, yes, there are so many things out there that are able to assist us if only we are prepared to make that change. So one of the things that I feel is very beneficial is first of all to figure out as a teacher, what is your philosophy as a teacher? What do you bring to the classroom? What do you want from your learners and where do you want to take them? If you are able to make that decision first of all, then the next step is to empower yourself. And I think that is what the session is going to be about in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be about empowering yourself, and we have so many specialists. I'm in awe of everybody that is involved because there's going to be so much that we can learn from them. So my first bit of advice is be open to learn, be open to change, be open to adapt.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. I'm glad to hear all this. The first thing is to make a decision. We have to make that choice that we are ready to go with the trend.
Go with flow.
Yeah. Yes. Make a decision. Then we also need to empower ourselves. After making a decision, then we should be open to learning. Fantastic. I don't think any teacher has that choice this time around of not making a change. In fact, the best and the only choice a teacher has at this moment to go along with what is obtainable is to change. Is to change.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
And that change
Thank
is
you
possible.
very much. Of course, it is.
Yes.
You said if you can do it, then others can do it as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
if I can just share a little bit of a story. The very first time I had to use an interactive whiteboard, I was literally trembling in front of the class. So like I say, yeah, I am now part of a panel discussion. So if I have come this far, then colleagues, I can really encourage you. It is possible.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much, madam. We really appreciate you on this. From that, we will be moving to another topic, looking at another challenge and solutions to the problem of digital education. Right now, I would like to have Mr. Olani Kuforola. Mr. Olani, please, are you with us?
Good morning.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, fellow panelists, and good morning, everyone. Good morning, the whole world.
Oh, good morning, sir. Good to have you again, sir.
Good to have you. Thank you.
I hope everything is under control over there.
Absolutely. Thank God.
All right, fine. You're welcome to this show. We want to quickly look at this topic: effective learners engagements. You know, from my observation, I actually believe that this is another or a vital challenge for teachers that are teaching online, engaging learners. How do we engage our learners? Of course, this unprecedented period, COVID-19 has changed the whole story. So some teachers have changed their teaching styles. Many now adopt what I personally see as lecturing method in dealing with their learners, because some things are missing, and which I think is not that good enough for learners at this tender age. And some teachers are even concerned about the lesson duration, because their learners are not fascinated. They are not fascinated rather. They are not fascinated due to low morale. When you are teaching and you are able to see happiness through the countenance of your learners, you are able to engage them. They will be the one to even they want to ask for more. They want to keep the class on code. And to do this, engaging learners is key. So from your own perspective, how do teachers incorporate learners' engagement for effective teaching and learning?
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you once again. And I think that is a very, very important question. And I think it's something that really requires creativity and unique creativity, to speak. And it goes from one teacher to another. Now, generally, I think student engagement involves meaningful students' involvement in classroom activities. Meaningful. You can actually be engaged with the wrong thing. Student can be engaged wrongly. But meaningful student involvement in classroom activities. And it's unfortunate that even while in the former classroom situation, in a 40 minutes class, psychologists have it that you can only have the attention of a student for just 12 minutes, a full attention for 12 minutes. So even in the former classroom, now it is more like it's more. I mean, it's common. Students tend to lose interest in online teaching than in formal learning situation. You understand? So this is where I said individual creativity comes in. With the help of these various tools available to us, you can actually engage students in meaningful student engagement teaching activity. Now, look at it. We all believe, as a former traditional teachers, that teaching starts from the classroom, like the 4 walls of the classroom.
The 4 walls.
Teaching starts when the 40 minutes starts. No, we have pre-class, we have in-class, and we have post-class activities. And all these help students, to be engaged, to be fully engaged in this teaching. Now, before this training starts, or before we in the past 2-3 weeks, I know engagement and all sort of surveys have been going on, gathering participants, intentions, expectations, and all before this program. And I'm sure a lot of our participants today are, their appetite have been, wet enough. I mean, wet enough to, like, they can't really wait to have this session start. And now we have they've been, asking, like, oh, when will this program start? They cannot really wait to have it start. And that's what I say, it's what I call pre-class activity. You understand? So you engage them before the class, in the class, and after the class. And how do we do that? There are a lot of activities we can actually do, because an average student is tired of sitting in one place for 40 minutes. And you just rolling out instructions, or is what you do, this is what you do. As a matter of fact, I mean, let me quickly say this before I forget, that teachers should take away this culture of when you're teaching online, you have to sit. I mean, you cannot sit when you're in class. You should be able, your student wants to feel your authenticity. They want to see you're authentic. You want to leave the screen at some point, you want to come back again. They want to see your body. They want to see your gestures. And sometimes it's very important. It's part of engagement. So now, going back, let me go back to what I was talking about in terms of in-class and the post-class activities. Survey is a part of pre-class, is an example of pre-class activity. Giving them smileys, the happiness smileys. I mean, you go to some schools, you see teachers having emblems of smileys, different smileys, happiness, laughter, thumbs out, and all of these things on their shirt. It creates, the willingness to learn on the part of the students. In class activities, we have the icebreakers. It's funny. While I started teaching, this just concluded the academic year, and I was thinking of the icebreaker to use, just so as to get my students aware. Participatory in the class, and I was looking at looking for one Yoruba word. Like, I'm a Yoruba boy, I'm teaching some foreign students. I was looking for one Yoruba word to use to captivate their attention, and it's funny when I introduced their word in the classroom, and they were like, "Oh, teacher, what's that?" I put it on Google and on YouTube and showed them the meaning. And they were like, "Teacher, we love it." Along the line, I changed it. They really want to, like, okay, when they're making noise, when they're shouting, you want to break the ice. You want to tell them, you want to calm their attention back into the classroom situation, because some of them get lost easily. They think of their unfinished assignments at home. They think of how they want to play the ball. Play football in the next break or during the lunch break and all. So we look at all these things together and create different activities for them. And interestingly, in digital education, there are loads of applications, websites, tools to use in engaging students actively. In 40 minutes, you have effective learning experience. And I'm sure the student will want to come back and say, "Oh, teacher, can we have more?" I'll tell you, can we extend it? All right. So the icebreaker is part of the in-class activity, group works. We have strategies, putting them in groups, collaborative, competitive strategy or activities, games or non-game activities, a lot of programs, project-based, activity-based, a lot of activities. And I'm sure, in the course of this program, of this training, we will be unleashing, we'll be telling you, or opening up more of these tools that can be used to actually, bring about an effective learners engagement in classroom, so that you don't lose your students, you don't lose your learners while you're trying to dish out information. Now, beyond this, sorry, quickly before I go, beyond this, it is also very important to look at the mental well-being of your students. It goes beyond teaching them the rules of the classroom situation. Now, education generally is about giving them instruction, giving students instruction about what will make them, or giving them relevant instruction that will make them effective individuals or citizens of their communities, without necessarily violating the rights of others. They will become better, law-abiding, and they will be useful for themselves and their immediate environment. And that's the essence. So we look beyond just teaching them the rules. For instance, in English, you're teaching them Concord. How does Concord apply to life? How do you? No, that's why I say it has to do with creativity. You take it out, away from the classroom situation and apply it to how it will be useful for them in real life.
In real
life. All right, thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate these points you have dished out. Okay, let me quickly let me quickly put all these points in this formats. What you have just tried to say now is the fact that engaging learners in the classroom should not be limited to assigning homework, giving questions, classwork. This is not
Flashcards.
This is not the re-engagement. This is not the re-engagement. Fantastic. Fantastic. So there are different ways by which learners can be engaged through eye breakers to catch their attention. That is attention getters. Wow.
Let them be in their class for those 40 minutes so that you don't lose it.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, those
And
things are
teachers.
very important. They are very important actually. But then the way you go about them, making them, as I said, meaningful student involvement. Meaningful.
Meaningful student involvement. Good, good, good. I will also agree with you that body movement is also part of learners' engagement. I will agree with you on that because the way you move around, your body language, the way you make reference, you point out, you do this, you demonstrate, is a way of arresting the minds of your learners. It's
Absolutely.
a way of making them gain focus. Thank you very much, Mr. Olani. We are glad to hear all this. We are glad to hear this. I want to believe our participants are taking notes of 1 or 2 points from this, from our panelists. This is just a tip of an iceberg. We are just beginning. We are just beginning. Right now, I will be moving to another topic, which is digital approach to school administration. Digital approach to school administration. Oh, Mrs. Nkechi, hi.
Hi, everybody.
Oh,
Good
good morning, madam.
morning.
Good to have you on the show, ma.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, yes. Quickly, because of our time, we all know transition is essential in schools. There is always need for transition. One class, from a class you move to another class, a class you move to another class, and as a result of this, definitely schools are planning on how to write their common entrance, how to conduct entrance examinations, and also run some administrative work in order to keep their learners and even their parents, their clients, which are the learners' parents. So how should they go about it? What options are available for them?
Yeah, thanks for having me once again. It's quite a challenging time we have seen ourselves in, considering the impact of COVID-19. Like I was discussing with someone the other day, I said, why does it have to be education that will suffer in all the sectors? Think that all the sectors are opened up. So
Yes.
I believe that every challenge can be overcome. Every challenge can be overcome. And thank God
Certainly.
that we are in digital age. There's internet now, unlike in maybe 15, 20 years back. If this type of thing had happened, how would have schools been able to cope? I believe every challenge can be surmounted, can be overcome. Most schools now are going online. That is, digitalization of schools is what we need now. What do I mean by that? Digitalization of schools in the sense that schools should be online. They should implement information and communication and technology in the school. ICT devices should be used now. In terms of like now we are in September, August approaching September, and this is the period. So in terms of digitalization of schools should go online, conduct exams online, enrollment of students, the new students should be
Hello. Oh, I think, hello. Mrs. Nkechi, are you still with us?
Yes, yes, yes. You know this
All
internet.
right.
Can you
All
can
right.
you
All
hear
right.
me? Okay.
Very well now.
Okay.
Very well.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. This internet they keep going up and down.
No problem.
Okay. So I was
No
saying
problem.
that this is the September is the new school year for most schools, mostly all over the world. I don't know about others, but in Nigeria here, September is a new school intake, and most schools going online is the best way. Enrollment of schools taking their examinations online. Schools should have an online presence. What do I mean? Every school should have a website, where parents can go and click and enroll their child, enroll their words, register them, make contact with the school, and the school at the other end to be able to respond using their own platform, enrolling the child. The school should have the school should have a school portal where parents and students can go and upload their documents after enrollment. Maybe they want to see the result, the transcript of the student. The school should be able to have a portal where these things can be uploaded and then it will be dealt with. There's one thing to digitalize the school, and there's another thing for the staff and the students and the school administrators to be able to imbibe and implement these things. Like Mr. Adebowale said, technophobia teachers. Technophobia teachers. So technology acceptance is very, very key in this age and time. So all school administrators have to do is to just jump on board and imbibe it. And really, if you look at it, it's not a difficult thing to do. Using technology, it's mostly clicking, Before you know it, you've got a hang of it. So teachers should not, or school administrators should not have that phobia. Do not have that phobia. A little training should be done, yes. A little training should be done. And then before you know it, it's an easy thing to do. So digitalization of schools coming on board, having a presence, online presence via website, social media platforms, Facebook, whatever, all these platforms, to enable them carry out their activities. And now there are quite a lot of platforms to be used, to enable them communicate. And then there's a Google Classroom, there's Zoom, there's Google Duo, there's Microsoft Teams. There's quite a lot of them, So with this, I believe that we as school administrators can overcome this challenge in this time. Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. It's an eye opener. It's an eye opener. Thank you very, very much for these points that you have expressed. Digitalizing a school is a different thing, or is one thing, and also imbibing it is another thing, carrying the teachers and the learners along. That is fine. I hope our school administrators will be able to understand the fact that going digital shouldn't be what or shouldn't be something teachers alone should just come up with on their own. I realize that some school administrators lack the understanding of digital education, and yet they push the responsibilities to their teachers alone, not minding the effort it takes for them to acquire the knowledge they need to acquire to carry out this e-teaching. I I appreciate the points you raised that training should be conducted for teachers and learners. Of course, this is actually going to go a long way if our school administrators can organize seminars, trainings for their teachers and students also on how to go with this. This will actually make it very easy for everybody to cope. I appreciate that idea. I appreciate that idea. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think can I actually use this opportunity to go create my own or establish my own school quickly and begin to put all these points in practice, you know. Honestly, if I have my way right now, I'll just establish one school, put all these things into practice, then I'm good to go. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ma. All right. And on the last phase now, we will be shifting to the last topic on this panel session, which is going to be handled by Mrs. Irene Matindi. Please, are you in the house, Ma?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? I can hear you very well. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be on this platform with you all.
Good day. Thank you very much for being with us. You know, I've been observing Mrs. Irene from the beginning of the program. There is this kind of anticipation. There's this kind of anticipation. Oh, I want to, let me talk. I have something to say. Yes, I can see that your countenance. And I'm personally interested in this topic. In this, yes, it's a challenge. I'm personally interested in it. Data deficits and lack of gadgets. Data deficits and lack of gadgets. Of course, by gadgets, we mean devices that can be used to aid teaching, like our computers and Android phones. But I notice that there is an inequality. There is an inequality in the use of these gadgets. You see, some teachers have laptops, some they are limited to Android phones. And you still come to realize that even those who have laptops, they find it difficult to make use of it because of data consumption. And those who also have phones, at a point in time, they begin to set data limits. They begin to set time. They moderate the way they operate online in order to keep their data because of the kind of environment we are. So what do you think can be done to overcome these limitations or challenges to those who have a mobile phone or laptop without data, and those who are confined to only Android phones? What do you think we can do to overcome this, man?
Okay. I really think maybe we need to take a couple of steps back, because I think when we look at education, even in the current norm, when we have the classrooms, we have the teachers, we have the materials, we have the students, we're struggling with having sufficient resources for every child. I think many schools in Africa, I think definitely in my country and in many of the places I have worked, mostly in refugee camps in the East Horn of Africa, I mean, we barely have sufficient resources. And then we look at the ratio of teacher to students, you know, sometimes a teacher has 120 students, you know, one person trying to manage such high expectations. And then, so I really think that we are coming from a level where we are, I mean, we're really having to think, if we could not meet the expectations of our students, even before, when we had at least, we had them in front of us in terms of, you know, I could see them, they're in front of me, I can listen to them. How are we going to cope in a digital age where everything has suddenly changed? So I really want us to think that the new norm or the new challenges that we have in terms of online learning, blended learning is just, I think, a bit of the bigger, I would say, the mountain. I don't really think that we have really managed to look at the mountain of education, so to speak, in terms of how we've actually been able to manage, you know, on a day-to-day basis. But coming now back to issues around data deficit and lack of gadgets, I believe sincerely that the very same students that I have been teaching, let's say as a teacher in a primary school, in a secondary school, if I have taken the effort to understand them in terms of their ability, their family backgrounds, their resources, do they have a support system and network at home? What different ranges of ability have they been able to be at? And what have I done as an individual teacher to meet these needs even in my classroom? I really sincerely believe that a lot of this now will come into use in terms of how we actually engage the students with or without the gadgets and the data. I would like to let us maybe believe that we have to believe that we have other opportunities. In many countries now, we have the radio broadcast, we have the radio classroom. In some countries, we're able to look at what other opportunities are available apart from maybe being online only. I'm currently working in a very small school project with my church, and we have about 25 children from very poor community slum areas. And they have been used to coming to school every day. For them, school means 2 meals a day. It means, you know, they have a set of uniform. They have a structured way of being engaged by a teacher and working with other students as well. I think one of the other participants mentioned this earlier in terms of around the learning engagement, where the teacher is part of, you know, is part of the student, it works with them and engages them in different ways. So now imagine you're now hoping that, or I'm now hoping that these 25 children who are probably coming from, probably many of them from very poor backgrounds, some of them are working, their parents are working, they really have no time to have the structure that we need for them to be engaged. So we're really having to ask ourselves, what can we do? Is it a phone call once a week just to talk to the child and to talk to the parent to hear how they're doing? We've been trying to send work home, you know, a small package where they come and collect a food basket every week. But many times the parents are telling us we have no time, the space is so little, there are 7 people living in the house, it's a one-room place, there's no electricity. And so when we even think about the phone, the Android phone option, we're really struggling with what can we do as teachers and learners and people who really want to ensure that our students are engaged. I would then go as far as saying that I think we have to look at it in terms of a bigger picture. I think we have to take this mountain and break it down into several levels of what do they have as a learning support system at home? Does that include data? Does that include gadgets? Does that include electricity? Does that include even a space where a child can be engaged maybe for an hour or 2 a day? Do they have a television? Can they even be able maybe to access the radio programs that the Ministry of Education is offering? However, which is very tailored to the exam classes. In Kenya, it's tailored mostly to Form 4 and Standard 8, who are the exam students. So I think for us as teachers, as educators, as people who are working with children, we have to really think about the differences in our learners, their abilities, their social backgrounds, and the environment that they come from. And lastly, even as we look at data and the gadgets and all that, we cannot forget about child safety when they're online, child protection, safeguarding children, because as you know, this is also the opportunity where people who have malintentions will be able to use opportunities, unfortunately, to probably expose children to pornography. So we have to also look at, if we're then able to engage them online, what are the safeguards we're putting in place as educators? But I really think for me, it's a time when as teachers, we have to look at our students as individuals, we have to look at their abilities, and we have to try and say, if this child X from this community X does not have the basics in terms of a data, a gadget, a data, a laptop, an Android phone, what can I do to tailor make education for him or her? And what kind of longer term planning will I then need to do as a teacher, hopefully when schools resume, God willing, probably in 2020. But at the moment, I think we must take up the challenge as teachers. We have to be enthusiastic. For me, I think the biggest heartbreak for students, especially from the community I was talking about, is they have taken the school as a second home. This is where we get to understand some of the challenges around living in slums and in low-income communities. So right now we're feeling very disengaged in terms of saying, how are they doing? Are they fine? Are they safe? We all know that GBV is very rife in this time. So again, I wear two hats. I wear the educator hat, but I also wear a child protection and GBV hat. And my message is always, let's look beyond the learning. Let's try and see the learning at home. What is happening in the home environment? What support system do they have? Do they have an elder sister, a brother, an auntie who can support them? And who can we work with and communicate from time to time to ensure that our children are doing okay? Thank you.
Wow. Oh, I am short of words. I'm short of words. You have just should I say you have just opened my eyes beyond what I was expecting. Mm, mm. What I hope all these points will actually be uh, taken care of. Insufficient resources, learners background, some other things like that. Okay. Okay. Let me hold on to my question or a contribution to your opinion. While because of our time, I will want to give room for our participants to ask one or two questions. But before then, I would like to invite Mr. Adebayo to quickly address one issue right now. Mr. Adebayo, are you there? Hello, Mr. Adebayo, are
Yes,
you there?
I'm here. All right, so
All right, please.
hello everyone. Okay,
Please,
so
please, Mr. Adebayo, before you go on, please,
yes, can you hear me?
I want you to help me give 100,000 kudos to our panelists. 100,000 kudos to our panelists, please.
Okay.
Can you do that? You can go on, sir.
Oh, so I'll do this and then it gets to 1,000, and it goes beyond that. All right, so I appreciate our panelists. Thank you very much. You've really done a lot of justice to all of the points that we have. Thank you so much, Mr. Sir, Ms. Nkechi, and Dolani. We thank you so much for all the points. And I'd like to say that because of time, if we give them more time, they would have said more. They would have, opened us up the training. We're going to be running this to the end of the month. They are going to be coming up again to some of the things that have been mentioned, and they're going to have some more time to deal with these topics extensively. All right, yeah, because we are very concerned in just giving everyone practical solution. We are concerned of, like our name and like EAZY-DIGI, concerned about you easily getting
Are you still there, Mr. Adebayo? Mr. Adebayo, are you still there?
Very well, I'm here. Very well, I'm here.
All
Okay,
right.
so quickly, having said that, I'd like to say that yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You can go on, sir.
Great, great. Am I audible? Can you hear me now?
Please go on, sir. Go on, sir.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so quickly, we want to take a poll. We have some questions we want to get feedback on from everyone participating in this meeting. All right, like I said, everything we're doing in this training is to give you a practical feel of what should happen in a virtual learning. To say we're also on YouTube. If you have friends that probably can join us on Zoom, you can forward the YouTube link to them. They can join us. Okay, so we want to take a poll. All right, so I'm going to launch the poll now. Okay, you have like about two that you will need to answer. All right, so I can see the response. Please, everyone go on. Please make sure you answer the questions. Please, it's very important. We need the response. All right, please, everyone go on. Okay. Okay, yeah, I can see we have a lot of response. Okay, please go on. Yeah, Mr. Dibol, I'm still here.
Hello, sir.
All right, so in less than 20 seconds, I'll have to end the poll. Yeah, I can still get some. I can still see some response from this end. Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Dibowale. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I'm with you, sir.
Okay, so
we have
to end the poll now.
All right.
Okay, great. Okay, I think
we have a question already. Hello, Mr. Adebayo. Mr. Adebayo, are you still there? All right.
yes, Samir, I can hear you. Please go on.
All right. All right.
Very well, I'm here. You can go on, please.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. You have been able to achieve participants' involvement. Thank you. Thank you. There are two questions here already. There are two questions here. I hope our panelists are still available on the platform. This one is coming from Mr. Peter on data deficits and lack of gadgets. Mobile devices and laptops, which is more tailored for testing students, especially if students are meant to upload their answers.
Maybe I can give a quick reply to that. I think
All right.
we all know how difficult to use mobile to a laptop. I think because maybe I'm much older than many of our younger people, find that a mobile device can be very complicated to use in terms of being able to manipulate the keyboard. And from time to time, I have even tried to use it, and sometimes you actually end up either sending the wrong message. So I really think the ideal would be a laptop. However, how many of our students actually have access to laptops? I think laptops can be an expensive gadget for, especially, I would say maybe in Kenya. The other challenge is that I think some laptops can be cheap, but then how much memory do they have? Are they really able, you know, the speed can also be a problem. If you're testing a child, you're probably also giving them a time limit, however long maybe the exam or the test is. I would say that this is a learning opportunity for many of us. I also believe that the next 6 months, I think I really would encourage us all to share, to have a platform where we are sharing our experiences. I really believe that one of the things that we can support each other is through exchange of information, lessons that we have learned, mistakes that we have made. And I think a question like this, I'm hoping that the person who asked the question, I think his name was Peter, will be able to come back to us one day and say, I tried it out and I realized that, you know, this gadget compared to this gadget is definitely better. I believe we should invest in, I think now our work also involves research, experimentation to some extent, and then being able to come up and develop policies, because I do believe that for the longer term now, for a long time to come, I believe that blended learning will become the way to go. And I really believe that engaging students through online platforms and other devices will probably become part of our education curriculum for the longer term. Thank you.
Fantastic. You have done well. You have done well. I hope Mr. Peter is still on the platform, and others who are interested in that question, please, just as Mrs. Irene has rightly said, by the time we put the two gadgets on a test, mobile phone and Android, of course, we will know which is better. And I'm very sure, just as she has said, you will enjoy using a laptop to carry out learning process than using a phone because for phone, you have limited features. You'll have limited features. Thank you very much.
Maybe I can add, then multiple choice questions might be the easier way to use gadgets because with multiple choice questions, a phone or an Android phone is much easier. I believe if you want people to write, that becomes probably more complicated.
Good, good, good. Thanks for that addition. For multiple choice question, you can see navigate through phone, you can still manage to use your mobile phones. All right, thank you very much, ma'am. And another question here is, okay, I think, how can a school reduce distractions with students who are digressing to other platforms? That is, how can a school reduce distractions from distraction with students who are digressing to other platforms? The way still have other panelists in the house, what can we say to this?
Hello, can I be there?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I believe that there are some softwares which have been made to control these things. If a student is digressing or diverting to other websites, there is a software I know that is the ICT administrator in each of the children's or the student's laptop, so he can monitor them from his own. Okay, it's quite easy. His own system will serve as a control or a server to the others, configured to his own. So if any child is doing something else outside what is being used for or done at that particular moment, the software shuts the child out, or the teacher will notice or from his own system that this particular child it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So there are softwares already put in place to tackle these things.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Ma. There are softwares.
May I also come in here for a minute, sir?
All right. You can. You can.
I think that to supplement what my colleague has just said, I'd like to tie in with the idea that one of the things that we also need to understand is that in the past, everything about education was based around learners consuming knowledge. And the reason why the focus was on that is because that is what the world needed at that time. We needed people who had knowledge to enable us to get where we need to be. The world has shifted. Right now, we need learners who are able to produce knowledge. So I know that teachers might feel like I need to assess my learners, they need to get the knowledge and the content, and I need to match that with assessment. We need to make the change and also realize that that does not need to be the focus anymore. One of my colleagues mentioned that learners are actively able to concentrate for 12 minutes at a time. And I want to link with that. The power of 7 also focuses on our ability to work with what our memory can process at a time. As teachers, if we can hone into the fact that learners need to know what it is that we expect of them, they need to know what it is that they are able to do with the content that we are delivering to them, and they need to know what can they get out of this that is going to be useful for them as learners. If we get them to move away from the idea that I have to study because I have a test, it's easier for them to remain focused on what it is that they are learning because they will understand that it is useful for them. Then that also helps with getting, stopping them from being distracted from any of the other platforms. The move to digitalization isn't something that is different to what we already were doing. We just need to make sure that the purpose changes, the method in which we are carrying it over changes, and it's the outcome now that we need to focus on. What is it that we want learners to be able to do at the end of our content delivery? And that will help us to design learning experiences and not just simply lessons and assessments.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ma, for that powerful addition. Thank you. Teachers need to understand their learners, know when you are supposed to eat them. The teachers should calculate when the right thing is supposed to be done, because by the time the students are actually getting bored, of course, there will be distractions. So they need to be captured with that particular time you think they are listening to you before the distractions. All right, thank you.
Sorry, quickly before we wrap it up there, I also want to emphasize the need for us teachers to know that the role of the parents are also very important. We cannot do without them, especially in digital literacy, in digital learning. Some of the assignments we give to them, most of them feel, oh, the teacher will not be here to beat me, so I won't do.
That's a big challenge.
Okay, come out of your screen and beat me.
Of course.
So there should be collaboration between the teacher and the students. The parents actually to drive on these effectiveness. There are assignments we call very important. There are assignments we call not so important assignments or homework. Children, young ones love to be given choices, varieties, options to pick from. So when you give them very important homework to do, they do. And for those of them that want to, for parents that want their children, their kids to be engaged, while instead of playing around the house, you can tell the student, the parents, make sure they do the not so important type homework. And these are ways to collaborate and working hand in hand with the parents.
With the parent. All right, thank you very much, sir. That is awesome. That is awesome. Briefly, because of our time, please. I wouldn't know whether our participants are actually following, but I hope, yes, let me check. All right, we still have them intact. And I want to apologize for taking more than the scheduled time. Please as a matter of fact, you have asked so many questions which we need, our panelists need to answer. Thank you for the patience. The next question here is, my question is, how do we, to a large extent, deal with identifying the appropriate resources to be used in our own context, Nigeria as a country? How do we, to a large extent, deal with identifying the appropriate resources to be used? So we have, I think, Mrs. Insufficient Resources, Mrs. Irene. Are you still there? Can you please help us shed more light on this question?
I think I'll go back to what I said earlier. I think we really have to invest in partnerships, whether it's with your Ministry of Education, whether it's your private institutions. I think schools are beginning to work together in terms of learning and sharing. In some communities, we are now seeing where they're trying to get students to come together in a library setting, of obviously keeping the rules of the social distancing as much as possible. One of the other issues I think Kenya is trying to explore right now is trying to see whether we can create community hubs in neighborhoods. Again, of course, trying to ensure that we are observing social distancing and keeping to all the rules. But I think in terms of individual countries, we need to look and see what the guidelines are that are being given. I think we should also look at partnerships, but also look and see who is doing it better than us. So why should we reinvent the wheel if we can borrow what somebody else is doing in a better way? So I'd like to tell the participant is, I think, look at what you have as resources. What does it mean? What is the cost factor? Obviously, right now, we all know that people are so overwhelmed, with just the basic living, putting food on the table. And then what is easily available and can be contextualized to the Nigerian context as much as possible. I don't think this is the time to reinvent the wheel. I think this is the time to take the wheel and adapt it to our situation as best as we can.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful one. Because of our time, I think we will need to put this meeting to a close because of our time. Tomorrow is still there. We have the whole month for this program, for this training. So I think some other time we can always come back to tackle some of these questions. Maybe I should say our responses to some of these questions would be sent to the WhatsApp group. Will be sent to the WhatsApp group. We will ensure these questions are being responded to, and we'll channel everything to the WhatsApp group. Thank you so very much at this junction. I have no choice than to express my gratitude to all our panelists and our participants for paying attention. I'm so glad to be on this show. I'm so blessed. As in, learning continues. We learn every second. For what you have added to my knowledge today, I give it to you. Thank you so much. I would like to quickly call on Mr. Adebayo to say one or two things while we put this session to a close for today. Thank you. Mr. Adebayo, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Adebayo. Yeah, thank you so much. So concerning the poll, I'd like to share the results. I believe we'll all be able to see the result from your hand. All right, so yeah. So I believe you can all see the result now. So what we have from this poll is that data deficit and lack of gadgets is taking the lead, and followed by effective learners engagement. Okay, great. And then I'm talking about the average duration of classes from our participants. So we have 40 to 50 minutes, and then there's a tie between 40 to 50 minutes and 30 to 40 minutes. All right, so you might want to know why we put up this poll. The reason is we want to be able to help you, in this training to practically, achieve a successful rendering with the time you have for your classes. So we want to be able to help you build components in the time you have, let's say 40, 50 minutes, whatever time it is you have. We want to show you components you can infuse into the time limit you have, all right, to be able, all right, to achieve a successful rendering on your part as an educator, and also to considering the factors that may be possible, like we have it here now, effective learner segment. And so we're going to be giving you tools, techniques, right, ideas that you can incorporate into your rendering to make sure that that is taken care of. Within the time you have, you're able to actually achieve what you want to do. So thank you very much for your response to the poll. And then I'd like to say again to that, this is just the beginning. All right, so we don't intend to take too much of time. We are really beyond time here, and we're sorry about that. And then on Wednesday, we have the next session coming up on Wednesday, and then we're going to be looking at digital literacy for educators. And we're also going to be considering effective learners engagement. All right, we have seen from research and from several statistics that one of the major challenges to e-learning is effective learners engagement. So one of the tackling that come Wednesday. All right, and also we have Mr. Lani from Turkey. He's going to be with us on Wednesday to deal with that aspect. Talking about digital literacy. We're in a digital world now. All right, so as an educator, there are many things you need to know to fit in into the digital world. There are many things you need to really know as regarding what is happening right now. All right, so a lot of practical case scenarios is going to be explained and showing us practically how this is going to be handled. All right, so please, if you have a question, feel free to relate your question. Right, you can let us drop your question in the WhatsApp group. You can send it to mail. We sent a mail to the WhatsApp platform. You can send it to the mail, or you can just easily drop it on the WhatsApp platform. All your questions are going to be attended to. Please feel free. All your questions are going to be attended to. All right. So once again, on behalf of the entire team, I want to say thank you very much for your time. Thank you for staying with us this far. All right. So please, we need your feedback. Please give us questions. We want to hear from you. All right. All we are after is providing a practical solution to the challenges you have with digital education. So let us know what is happening practically from your end, and so we can hit the nail on the head. All right. So thank you so much. Once again, on behalf of the team, I want to say a big thank you to all our panelists. All right. We can't but just keep saying thank you and thank you and thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Teresa, Ms. Nkechi, Mr. Lani, and Ms. Rene. We so much appreciate your presence, and to all our esteemed participants. So thank you for joining us today. We do hope to see you again on the platform and in the next session coming up on Wednesday. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Goodbye for now. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.